Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. I hope you're playing tennis and that you're feeling good. Today I wanted to talk about leather grips. What's the point of a leather grip? Why should you use it? Why shouldn't you use it? And what's the thing with these guys that show half the leather? What's the point of that? You might have seen Stan Wawrinka, that he's playing with part of the leather showing like this, but still using an overgrip down here. Why is he doing that? You might have seen Richard Gasquet, who's using a really thick roll of I think an extra leather part of leather grip to kind of have a really solid base here that looks kind of like a toilet roll. It's so thick. He's the only guy I've seen playing with that style. It shows how personal we are. I mean, Robin Soderling, he had like a nail in here instead of just silicone or normal weight. So we're all different. But what's the point of a leather grip? So leather grips obviously came way back. Everyone used them for their wooden rackets. That was pretty common. It's really there to add some extra weight to the racket for some players. So a leather grip is heavier than a synthetic grip. So you're going to have a bit more of a headlight feel. So the balance will be more in the handle than towards the head. So that's called headlight and not head heavy. So that was one idea. But the main idea of a leather grip is for you to feel the bevels. And the bevels on the grip are the 8 different sides of the grip. So each grip is an octagon, meaning 8 sides for you to find your different grips, whether it's a continental serve grip or if you're playing with a semi-western or a western or an eastern forehand grip or an eastern backhand grip. You also have guys like Dan Evans, who's using a custom molded handle, which is quite common that they have a custom mold for their hand. For example, Dominic Thiem is using a 2.5 size Babolat grip. So that's pretty common as well. So a lot of pros, they have really peculiar grip differences. I know like Alias Bedene, whose rackets get customized by Armstrong Customs, my friend Nicky there. He has a really small difference in one part of the grip. So it's just a tiny difference there. So there's all kinds of approaches to this. The most important thing is that you feel really comfortable with your grip. I think the grip's ultra important. It needs to feel very good in your hand. It needs to feel natural on the swing. And there are differences in the grip sizes and the grip thickness and everything from the different brands. So it's something you should pay attention to and something I will talk about in a coming video so you have a more idea of how the grips differ a little bit in size and shape. But the leather grip is supposed to make you feel the handles better. The issue with a leather grip can be that it's quite hard on the hand. So if you have a lot of these blisters that I do now that it's pretty cold and windy in Malta, I get these cracks in my hands. Need to moisturize all the time, but I'm not the best at that. I prefer hotter conditions and more humid conditions. But yeah, they really get dry and it's a problem. With a leather grip, it's really tough on the hand. And also vibrations from the string bed, they always travel down to the grip. And if you have no dampening here, it's just very hard and solid like a leather grip is, especially a worn one like this one. It's going to be a little bit more harsh on your arm. Tiny bit, but it's going to make a difference and it might not feel super comfortable. So that's something to think about. Some players prefer really the raw feeling. I said Dan Evans uses one overgrip, no base grip. He's just playing it pretty raw. And many pros like that. Some pros like a little bit more cushion and a little bit more softer feel. I tend to go for a standard setup with a synthetic base grip and then an overgrip. That's generally what I prefer. I like a little bit more comfort overall, but we're all different. The thing with Wawrinka and Gasquet and DanielAltmeier, why they displayed the leather grip, I think partly to save the overgrip. So I think they actually do it twice. So they wrap it double here with using one overgrip, so it doesn't really cover here. Then you have to use more overgrip, of course. For example, many players use 2 overgrips, and I have friends that use 2 overgrips on a leather grip. Novak Djokovic uses 2 overgrips. He's using one where he overlaps like a normal, like it's here, but then he has one with no overlap on top of that. So there are all kinds of preferences to find your ideal grip. And it's worth investing some time if you're struggling with the grip. Like for some players, a head grip might feel really strange, and head has 3 different grip shapes, TK82, TK76, TK82S. And Wilson have also made their grip slightly different with the clash and the blade. So there are things to think about when it comes to grip shapes, what grip you like, whether it's leather, synthetic, if you like one overgrip, no overgrip, or two overgrips. All things make a difference to how that feels in the hand. So there's no real particular strong reason for displaying the leather here, up here, unless you have some bragging rights or something, but it's just to be able to double wrap the same grip. One of Wawrinka's biggest fans on tour is DanielAltmeier, and he also does this on his Yonex racket. So if you've seen Altmaier, very nice one on the backhand. He's a big Wawrinka fan, and you see his racket, he has the same approach. And Gasquet, you know, he's using a lot of grip to get this really thick part here for him to feel more secure with his grip. Because he's using also a continental forehand, so I think it might work better for him there, I don't know. So that's a few thoughts about leather grips. If you want to know more about grips, leather grips, synthetic grips and so on, let me know in the comments below. What grip do you prefer? Do you play with leather, or you prefer synthetic, or you use only two overgrips like one of my friends who's a good player does? It's all up to you really. There's no real rule for things. You just have to find what works and what feels best on all your strokes. And that's about it for this one. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments below if you did. Please subscribe to the channel and check out tennisnerd.net and my Patreon, patreon.com/tennisnerd, where you get unique content every week if you become a member. That's all. Have a nice day now, and don't forget to play some tennis.